It keeps getting like hot and then cold and then hot. And sorry.
Dance Journey!
With Tracy in LA. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Dance Journey. Today, I am here with...
Me, Helen House. Hey. Hey, guys.
me. Helen and I have a fun friendship story, so we're going to talk about that soon. But first, we're going to talk about a class we just took because it was a new class for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually at Movement Lifestyle, and we took Devin Solomon.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I
was
really liked
vibing.
him. You
But
were
like
what?
vibing.
Oh, vibing.
Vibing.
Sorry.
I was
don't know
vibing,
these
but
words.
I also like wasn't very like, you know how everybody feels about class. If I had done it like a bajillion more times, I would have been like owning it. But I was like, whoa, I don't know your style. I don't know you. So like, it's going to take me a second. But when I watched him, I was like, you are so for real. You're so good.
Oh, yeah. He's a really good dancer. I felt like he was also a very good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I think it says something when you take a teacher for the first time who's teaching a sort of tricky combo and you feel like you learned enough of it. Like you feel like you got something out of the class. Because sometimes when I take teachers I've never taken, I feel like I don't even know what happened by the end. I'm like, did I do anything?
Right. He did say that. He was like, try not to get through the choreography, like feel it, you know. And I was like, I am trying to get from beginning to end. I was like, I'm doing my best just to get through this right now.
Yeah.
It was a hard one. We did good.
I thought I was watching Helen. She was killing it, actually.
That is very sweet. You were killing it too. You were killing it. We didn't go in the same group, so we did get to watch each other. I, again, was just, sometimes in class, I can't even like take it in because I'm just watching other people being like, y'all are so good. Like I was just watching other people being like, how do you move like
I know.
that? I'm just
there
so
are some
impressed.
really good people.
Really good people.
I'm pretty bummed that I'm about to possibly get a day job pretty soon and probably can't go to this class regularly because it's at 4:00 on Mondays. But he was such a good teacher. He gave such good tips. I don't think I looked great doing the dance on my first time taking his class, but the fact that I could even get all the choreo because he goes over it a lot, I was like, if I came back to this class every week, I think I would grow a lot. And I don't always love hip hop, but I really enjoyed his style. I thought it was really fun.
I was surprised you picked this one. I was out of like, I don't know, I thought you'd pick like maybe a more jazz funky one, but I guess with timing and whatnot.
It's just because I had heard that Devin Solomon was a really good teacher and that I should take his class.
And I'm
I heard
glad.
it a long time ago and I kept putting it off and never did it. And I was like, wait, we were supposed to take a different class. It got canceled. So I was like, oh, Devin Solomon. It's at the same time. Let's do this one.
I'm so glad. No, and I love the song. I just thought it was just a vibe.
Yeah. Wait, what? Do you know what the name?
I don't know.
I forgot. I know that song, but I can't. Now I forgot it. It's actually been a while since we took the class because we had some mic issues. Okay, like literally I thought the mics were charged and apparently they weren't. And so Helen and I just talked about as many things as we could talk about in the car that were things that we can't talk about on the podcast because we haven't seen each other in a while. So we're like, let's just talk as friends and get caught up while we're waiting like 30 minutes for these mics to charge.
It was a good time. It was chill. I was happy. I was happy to sit. After that class, I'm happy to just sit and breathe. It was work, so I was fine. I was good to
Helen
go.
was like, that's okay. I'm glad I'm not like huffing and puffing on the podcast now.
Yeah. If it was right after, I was like,
she was so nice about it. So I'm excited to interview Helen because Helen doesn't live here anymore in LA, and she actually had visited LA before I started the podcast and right around the time when I was about to start it, and I had told her about it, and she was like, I'm going to be on your podcast. Or you said something like that.
Yeah. No, I knew she was going to do it and it was going to be great. And I could not wait. And I'm so happy to be here. And Tracy's doing an amazing job, guys. And I'm very, very proud of her. I'm going to look dead in the camera and say that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so proud of you.
She was like, where should I look? At the camera or at you? And so when it's something really important, she just says it twice and does it both ways. No, Helen is so sweet. She keeps being like, I'm so proud of you, Tracy, because I just feel like we've been friends for a while and she heard my story of like quitting my job and kind of doing these creative things. And she's always just like, I'm so proud of you.
Well, people say they're going to do stuff and they rarely do. You did it. You did the thing.
Aww.
You're doing the thing.
Aww.
Most people are like, oh, I really want to maybe do that. And then you're doing it. And I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Helen.
I'm serious.
I appreciate that, Helen. So yeah, so then she visits LA like kind of often, and we'll kind of talk about that whole story in a minute. But yeah, so she's here again, and I'm like, so when are you're gonna be on the podcast, right? She's like, of course.
Mhm.
And so we planned it. Here we are. And I also hadn't seen her in some months. When was the last time you were here?
January.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
January.
So yeah, it was kind of, honestly, I kind of enjoyed the fact that the mics needed to charge because it was just enjoyable to just chat with Helen. So I want to talk about how we met.
Please, I want to know your thoughts on how we met. That's what I need to
Okay,
know.
I'll tell it from my side. I mean, who knows what you even remember, but I was trying to remember exactly how we met. So we both took basic jazz with Chelsea Mishner at Edge. But I do remember vividly the first day that I met Helen. I just thought about it.
Really?
Yeah. I
Okay.
wasn't sure if I did, but I was thinking about it like yesterday or something. And I was like, wait, I remember now what it was like. I didn't have a lot of friends at dance or a lot of friends at Edge yet. I was kind of just like focused on growing and like I wasn't like I've become much friendlier since those days. Not that I wasn't friendly.
Really?
I just
I
like
thought you've always been so friendly.
I had gone through a breakup and I was going through like a rough time for a couple of years.
I had no idea.
And I was just like I wasn't like as bubbly as like I normally am. I was like not wanting to like have a bunch of friends or make a bunch of friends. I was kind of just tired of people after I went through that,
Right.
which doesn't even make sense, but like I just was.
Okay.
So I would just go to dance and I wasn't like trying to talk to people or anything like that. But over time of taking that class, I did become friends with this one girl. I think her name was Sophie or Sophia. I actually can't remember. But she was kind of my closer friend in the class.
Yeah.
And so I remember she and I were chatting before class. And then all of a sudden, Helen's sitting there. I'm pretty sure you were like sitting on the floor in the hallway at Edge. And you were just like, so for this class, da, da, da. I don't remember what you asked, but I remember thinking, whoa, this girl's like real outgoing.
Oh, God.
Because you just like kind of, I just remember you like jumped into our conversation and you were just like, so you were like asking us a question, but I just remember you had like this loud voice, not like in an annoying way, just like you were just like boisterous. I just remember thinking you were
I'm
so
embarrassed.
outgoing.
Like, how old am I at this point? Like, what did I do? What did I say?
Do you want to say how old you were?
Yeah, no,
You were probably,
23,
when was that?
24?
Something like that. But
Yeah,
I thought you were really nice.
No, but I probably was just like in your grill.
Like
you probably looked nice, and I was like, she's approachable.
I was just like surprised that you were just so, and so I remember like answering your question or kind of talking to you a little bit, but still I was like, but Sophie's like my main friend, or
Right,
Sophia.
right.
I don't remember. Obviously it didn't last that long. But Sophie or Sophia, if you're out there, I do miss you, but I don't know what happened to you. So anyway, but yeah, and then all of a sudden Helen just started coming to that class pretty regularly, and she was so outgoing and friendly. And then Sophie or Sophia sort of dropped off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because I don't know
her.
who that is.
Yeah,
so.
I know, because it was like before you started coming that she and I were like getting closer, and then she kind of went a different way and stopped coming as much, and then totally stopped coming, I think. And so Helen and I don't know, you were just so outgoing, so we just started chatting a lot, and you always came, and you were kind of my only like friend from Edge for a while. And so I would get like excited
Aw.
to see you, like, because I would be like racing from work and you'd always already be in the hallway because you would have already taken like 7 classes or
18
something.
billion classes, yes.
She's like so tired. And I do remember you always like needing to eat candy from the vending machine or something.
Yep.
And one time you're like, Tracy, do you have a $1?
That is so annoying of me. I'm so sorry. But that just goes to show you how comfortable I felt with you. I was like, please give me your money. I'm about to be in this class.
It was like I would just come from like my office job in the air condition like all day, and then I see Helen, she's just like dying. She's like, I need food like so bad. It's like my first class, so I'm like, la la la, this is fun.
It was
and Helen would just be like dead, like she's like, it's my 4th class.
There's
or
class
something.
after that too that we'd go to sometimes.
Sometimes I stopped doing
What was
that.
it, though?
It was ballet.
Yes. What in the world, y'all?
I only took ballet at Edge for a little time. I did like that teacher. I don't remember her name.
Me
though.
neither, but she was cool.
She was really cool.
But I remember after that, we'd have to leave early sometimes, or I would have to leave early sometimes.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I felt like I was too hungry to go from work to basic jazz for an hour and a
Yes.
half and then to a ballet class for an hour and a half. I was just like starving. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I told that teacher, the ballet teacher, I was like, I really love your class. I have to eat food. I can't stay here. So anyway, I loved seeing Helen's face, and it was fun because, and you can elaborate on this, but she was doing like one of the intensives at Edge.
Correct.
So she was kind of like put in a bunch of different classes. And even though she was like a more advanced dancer, they would put some advanced dancers in the basic jazz class because it was just like a really good class.
Incredible class.
We loved that class.
I'm here to test. Like, this is, you have to go back to basics. And
Yeah.
there's so many things that I was like, I just don't even think about that. and especially in Chelsea's class, this basic jazz class, there's so many things that to this day, whenever I'm turning or doing something, I'm like thinking of the things that she said because it was such a good class.
Too.
Um,
And I miss it. Like that exact class at Ed, just like with the people that came, and it was all different levels that came.
Yeah.
And Chelsea was very good at like managing that and helping each person like where they were at. So you could be a more advanced dancer and she would push you more.
I think it's sweet that you say I'm more advanced in that class.
You were, because I actually like was a beginner. But you were like...
But you knew what's up. Like, you're not, like, you're like, oh, like, the reason I probably went to you is because you knew, like, I could tell you knew what was up before anything was going down. You knew stretching is happening here and here. I was like, I need to follow this girl around because she knows what's up. I
had been taking it for a while, so I did know what was up in that class.
Down.
But it was, like, fun to connect with Helen because, A, she was so nice and fun and funny. It was, like, just fun because you were just, like, I have a funny personality, and like so do you, and so we just like laugh about stuff. But we also both really cared about growing. We
did very
care.
We're so like making sure you know we cared.
It was like a fun to have a friend that was just as serious about dance, or more serious, actually, probably in your case. But then also we can like laugh about stuff and have fun. So I love seeing you. But you had like your Edge scholarship or intensive friends, and then I was so glad that you were still friends with me, the random girl in basic jazz.
You were just so cool, and you were very, like, a calming presence. I feel like I'm just, like, all the way up here, and, like, you were like, hey, like, yeah, we're taking class, and I'm here. And it was just, like, a very routine. You were a very big constant. Like, I was always there on Monday. So I was, like, happy to know, like, but I'm going to see Tracy today, and everything's going to be good.
I do remember you telling me that. Like, I know that I can always expect you, because I think there was maybe, like, one time I had to miss or something, and you, like, flipped out. No. Like, where are you?
Didn't like that at all. Didn't like that at all. So, yeah. That's our origin story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But did you, because you did, this is what else was funny. You did like 2 rounds of that intensive at Edge, right?
I asked to do. Yes, I had her for a semester. And then when I did it next semester, I was supposed to do Jazz 2, either 2 Jazz 2s or Jazz 3s or something. Oh, I can't even imagine doing a Jazz 3 right now. But I just thought Chelsea was so great. And I talked to, at the time, my advisor. And he was like, I mean, yeah, if you want to do it again, that's chill. And so I did, because I thought she was so great. I regret nothing. I wanted to keep doing it.
I know. That's what I thought was so cool, because I'm like, oh, these people that do the intensives, they're here for like, they're in the class for a few months, and I really like them because they're kind of like inspiring, because they're taking so many classes. So I kind of like, I get energy from that. And because I'm taking so many classes, but I wasn't doing like the intensive. But then I lose them after a few months. I'm like, oh, I was getting to know them, but now they're like not scheduled to be in this class anymore. But Helen did a freaking second round because she asked.
2 times a week, and then I did one time a week. Like, I went on whatever day it was, like, let's say Monday, Wednesday, the first semester. Then I just went to like Monday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, that was probably
that was like the give or take that we decided on.
And Helen was also one of the first dancer friends where we actually like hung out a couple times, a few times.
Yeah.
And also because you didn't have a car when you were here.
I know.
We're going to go back to like why, like what this was about. But you were pretty close. You were staying.
I was walking distance.
Pretty close to Edge. Yeah. So like you'd be like, oh, can you drive me? I don't remember how it started.
That's so annoying. Like, I really hope I didn't ask you for at home.
I know, annoying. It never felt.
Don't tell me that I did.
It never felt. I might have just offered.
Oh my God.
I don't remember. Okay. I never felt like you were like annoying or anything.
I tried not to, because I could walk, but at nighttime sometimes my sister would be like, can you get a ride? Or like, I need to pick you up. And I'd be like, all right. So
I think it was when we both took ballet. And then I was like, oh, I can take you. But if we didn't.
Because that was later. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
But no, I was always happy to drive you home because it wasn't very far. And then we could like chat in the car. So I think we got to know each other through our little carpool situation. And then, yeah, you were just, I think you probably just suggested we hang out sometime. And we had kind of become friends with these other guys, Winston and Ronnie.
Shout out.
Those are the main guys I remember. Woo. Winston and Ronnie. I don't know where.
If you're out there, hello.
If you're out there, hi, shout out. That was really fun during those days when we used to hang out. We like went out. We were like, let's take classes we always took classes on Saturdays. We're like, let's go out to eat afterwards.
Right.
We
hung out like a couple of times.
It was really fun because I feel like in dance, this part of the reason I do the podcast is because I feel like we don't always like really hang out with people or like really talk to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got to know Helen a little better than most because we actually spent time in the car and we actually hung out for like outside of dance. But then I also saw her dance a lot. So
we're pretty intentional.
we had started hanging out kind of a bunch, and then freaking COVID came. It was right before COVID.
Literally, my semester ended in February, and COVID hit everything real bad in March. Like, I didn't even, like,
right
when
after
I was just coming home to visit, all my stuff was still in LA.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
yeah.
uh-oh. So.
And you headed back to Mississippi, which we'll go back in order. We'll go back to that in a second. But I was sad. I missed you. And so I remember it was so funny because it was so hard to text you. Like, you wouldn't text back really. But, I don't know.
I'm dying.
But you were so easy to, like, FaceTime.
This is true to this day. I'm a very big FaceTime voice memo girl. Texting.
No, it's not true to this day because you're so good at texting now.
You think I'm good at texting?
Oh, you're like...
Everyone listen. I hope people that know me really well say it again.
You're so good at texting now.
I'll
say it both. You're so good at texting now, and you're so good at texting now. I literally, like, you took like 2 minutes to respond to text the other day, or even today, and you were like, sorry that took so long. And I'm like, no. The old Helen, you would not text me back ever.
I'm just so mature now.
Or like a month later. But if I just randomly spontaneously FaceTimed you, you would usually pick it up. And I'm like, that is the weirdest. That's so weird. Like, I am not going to automatically pick up a FaceTime if I didn't prepare for that necessarily. I don't really have anyone that would do that, I don't think. But yeah, the fact that, so I literally would tell myself, Tracy, if you want to talk to Helen, just FaceTime her. And you told me to do that. So it wasn't like you were a bad friend. You just like weren't into texting really. And I wasn't on Instagram at the time. So like.
That is also, yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's why we didn't. So I guess maybe that's why we weren't like as connected. But then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden you got better. A studio in Culver City closed down, Dance Line.
Okay.
And I wanted to save it. I don't know how I was going to do that.
Oh.
And I contacted Helen and was like, "Can you move out here and we can turn it in, we can buy Dance Line and make it
opened
a
up a huge memory that like I had completely lost.
I forgot it till right now too.
I thought that was a grand idea. What happened? Why didn't we do that?
Because
it got bought. No, I remember you emailing or texting me and being like, someone bought it.
Well, it was closing down. Yeah, I don't remember what happened, but I think I had been wanting to quit my job for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what we're called to do. We have to save, because I was like loving the teachers I was taking there. And I was like, we have to save it. And I feel like, I don't know why, I felt like Helen would do this with me.
I totally
and
would,
I was like, we should run this studio. We should run this place. Okay. And so I literally I found some email for Dance Line. And I was like, I asked like how much
Hello,
it
May,
costed.
can I save you, please?
I
How much
literally
does
asked
it
how much
cost
it
to save you?
costs. Like as if I like literally have very little money, and I'm like, how much does this cost? Like, can I do this? And they actually responded in like a serious way, which was pretty funny.
No, I remember you showing you.
I was like, am I being serious about this? But I got pretty excited for like 2 days, and I was serious, and I was talking to Helen about it.
I was serious
and
too.
She was serious.
Things could be different, guys. I'm telling y'all, we were serious, but someone did.
But she was like, it's on the west side though, but like
I remember
there's not a lot of studios like on the west side.
No, but like I don't live here full time, so like I didn't have that jurisdiction to like talk about that. I just said my thoughts, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't live here, so I don't get to have the say of where the location was.
Yeah.
You know? Like, don't be petty, Helen. Don't be petty.
Seriously, Helen. I was like, why can't you just jump on board with my idea and have no questions about it, and we're just gonna go?
I mean, I was at 90% there, so
I think you were. I think actually she was more there than I brought it up, but then I think she was more there than I was. And within like a couple of days, I was brought back to reality of like, Tracy, you're so crazy. You're just keep doing your job and go to dance class, find some other classes. And then fortunately, C-Spot took those teachers that I liked a lot from Dance Line. So that was amazing. I only had maybe a month or less of like not actually taking those classes, and I didn't have to buy a whole studio. Of course, it could have been fun.
Could have been. What would the name be? That would take a while.
Wait,
I'll think of it.
Tracy and Helen's Dance House.
No. Oh, okay. I like that.
Helen's last name is House. I can't.
It's not out of the question, guys. Just because this didn't happen.
It could happen later. I don't know what's happening with Dance Line right now. We should. Okay. Anyway. Okay. That was a lot of tangents. We're at 20 minutes. Okay. So, Helen, let me ask you some of the normal questions I ask people. Okay. Now let's just be normal. You're my normal podcast guest. Helen, talk about what your current dance life looks like. What's your week? What are you doing with dance right now?
It changes a lot. So basically I own a studio in Mississippi, House Studio Dance. Shout out.
So cool.
Love it so much. She is currently going under renovations right now. We're building it, so it's one big open space. And right now we're building, I say we, the contractors who I love so much. I've done nothing. I'm out here taking class. They are building walls and doing all this stuff to where there's a bunch of different places to teach so that there can be a lot of different classes going on.
Nice.
Because it was just kind of not making sense
It
for
was
there to be
one
one area.
room.
We're growing.
Okay.
There's just not.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about it, but renovations are happening, so I come out here every summer. In 2021, I was here for the month of May. Last year, no, I don't want to get into specifics, but usually it's just a month or like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. We're out here for 2 months because there physically can't be anything going on at the studio, so I feel very confident just not being there because why I can't work. So we're renovating. I'm super excited. Should be done in July. We'll see. I'm super excited. But that my day-to-day is working there. I work 3 to 8 usually. But on the weekends we have birthday parties and bachelorette parties or like first dance. People that dance for their weddings, they practice for first dance or like a mother-son thing.
And you teach there and run the whole thing.
Teach there, run the whole thing. I would say I taught for 3 years by myself, and then recently I have hired more people, and it has just been a dream. The people who work for me, I love them. So if you're watching this, I love you so much. You know who you are. And I had like a very big control issue because the studio is my baby. It's like the only thing I've actually worked really hard towards. That sounds bad, but like I just didn't really try much in high school or college. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but this is really important to me, and I found people who care about it and know what's up. And I don't know why it took me so long to hire other people and stuff. Like, so I don't do everything anymore. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I teach everything. No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I do not.
So do they teach classes or do they do the admin type of stuff or what do they do?
So we got a social media girl. Everyone that I mentioned, I love you. I'm not going to mention you by name. Social media girl. Love her. Then I have like last year, main girl teaching children.
Okay.
I teach at night, like dance cardio where we have wine beforehand and then we just
I know. I remember you telling me that. Like, you're like, I teach an adult dance class and we drink. It's so fun. We drink wine beforehand. I was like,
it's my dream. It's my dream.
That is unique. I'm glad you're living your dream with that. I'm sure they love it.
Picture what we just did, except for like not nearly as hard, and we drink wine beforehand.
I mean, yeah,
it's so fun.
It does kind of sound nice.
And it's just kind of usually like a Britney combo. Like sometimes it's more hip hop, sometimes it's more jazz funk. It's literally whatever I'm feeling, and I try to post what I'm doing beforehand. But you know me. It's just sometimes we'll see. But I always teach the adult classes. We've had some people that work that are in college that'll come in and teach contemporary or Zumba. It just kind of depends on like what the market want. What do you want? What do y'all want out there, Jackson, Mississippi? So, but the kid classes are the ones that are like month by month, like they pay per month, not just like drop-ins like this.
Oh, okay.
So they are.
I saw that you kind of do it by grade. I was looking at your website.
Stop. It's so funny that you said that. One of the people that works with me, she was like, our website is so outdated. And I was like, so true. She was like, it looks like we just opened. And I was like, yeah, because everything's just kind of on Instagram. I was like, we really need to update that. And it's funny that you looked at it.
I didn't necessarily think it looked outdated or anything. I was just like, oh, I mean, maybe that makes more sense where you're at to do like first grade, second grade.
It is still like that. It's just like, that's not the schedule right now.
Oh, okay.
Like, no. Like, we started with third grade. Now we're having a first grade class. It's just, it is by grade because everybody wants to be with their friends and all that. And I don't know. It's just like.
I mean, no, it made sense. Like, when I was reading, I'm like, that was interesting because I was like, I mean, I didn't grow up dancing as a kid, but I was like, I don't think that's how they do it with kids out here. But I was like, that makes sense, though. And then nobody's like feeling like, oh, I'm at a different level. It's just like, oh, it's like whatever your grade is, and then it's your friends. I was thinking that was cool. I was like, oh, I kind of think that's cool how they do that.
Well, if you start young enough, like, if we have
Everyone's
first grade
kinda
class,
similar.
they don't have, nobody's out there like, oh, whoa, like, way crazier.
Right.
This is what usually happens. A parent will come to me and be like, hi, I have, like, a group of 10 girls that really wants to take a class, so it just kind of happens organically.
Yeah.
And I love the kids, and it's been really, really great. It has been great. I'm glad to have help, because by myself, no matter how much time you have on your hands, teaching like 10 kid classes a week is just kind of like hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, it's good to like,
And just like managing the whole place with like whatever comes up.
yeah. It's a lot of things can come up, a lot of things, but the renovations I'm really, really excited about. So
That's really cool.
yeah, if we talk about it too much, I'll start spiraling and thinking about all the things I need to do.
So are there any classes? I know you come out here a lot and take class, which is really cool. Are there any classes in Mississippi that you are able to take for yourself? Or I mean, I guess you could take
That is such a good question.
from your friends who teach, or they only teach kids?
Well, like my one girl who I love, she was doing contemporary, and I would sometimes take it. But as you know, I really don't love
It's not her
contemporary.
favorite.
I don't like it. So, honestly, there's not that. I think that's why I went into the market that I do. Is there's not that many adult classes in Mississippi.
Right. So you needed to start it.
I've had so many people that are like, you need an outlet, you need to take from other people. I would love to. I just don't really know. I mean, there was like one salsa place that shut down. I don't.
Is there like a bigger city that has classes that you can drive to sometimes, or?
So recently, someone opened up a studio in Biloxi that I really want to try. My friend lives there, and I want to go there. But
Okay.
like, there's just not really. That's why I come here, is because
Wow.
there's just not.
You
really...
do so good for not having regular classes you can take until you come out here. Like,
Thank
you're
you.
always
Thank
killing
you.
it when because I took class we took Nigo together last time you were here.
That was so fun.
You killed it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know I haven't been able to take his class in a while, but that was really fun. You did so good. And
Thank you.
I'm always amazed when dancers who don't take class regularly are just able to whip it out. Like,
It's something that I've tried to be more like okay with, like, because I feel like I do a bad job, and I'm like, oh, it's because I'm not out here like training and doing all this stuff. But I have to remember I don't do that. So like, even me just picking up choreography and like knowing it is pretty good. I'm like,
yeah.
good. And I try. It's so much different taking class versus like teaching.
But
So
I'm
different.
sure like you grow in so many ways from even in your own dancing with teaching too. But it's
Right.
just different because it's still like your favorite moves and your style.
Yes.
So it's not like someone else's style.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's really cool that you can and that you're able to come out here so much. So that's pretty much your life. Was there anything else about dance in your current life? And then you just come out here pretty often.
I don't know. I would say my most love the studio, but really like freelance choreography. That's like a big thing.
Okay.
That I love. So I do that as much as I can.
Okay.
With coming out here. Yeah, that's all I got.
You do that like you work with different people
So,
or places
It depends. Like I've done like a competition dance for someone.
Okay.
I've done musicals.
Nice.
I'm laughing because me and the girl who works with me did a musical, and it was such a bonding experience. I love her so much, and every time I look back at the videos, I'm like, oh, that was such a fun time. Anyways,
what was
that
the
fun.
musical for?
It was My Fair Lady. It was a high school musical.
Oh, cool.
And you would think, My Fair Lady, what choreography? Oh,
I mean,
there's so much choreography.
I don't remember it enough to like think if there was or wasn't choreography.
I didn't. I was kind of like, oh, and then yeah. So that was super, super fun.
Fun.
But I don't know. I do like doing stuff for the studio, but I do like doing stuff that's like
outside of it a little bit.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun to have the
Yeah.
variety.
Love it.
Okay. So let's go back to, because I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
Cannot wait for what's about to come out of your mouth.
When did you get involved in dance and how did it happen?
I feel like a lot of people just talk about like a lot of people are just kind of put in ballet when they're a little kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if is that here or maybe it's just in the
I mean, a
South.
lot of people that I interview, that's their story. Yeah.
So I mean, I hate to be like not really that interesting, but starring ballet, didn't like it.
In Mississippi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's fault. Just I'm not a ballet gal. It's very important. It's the foundation of dance. It's important. It's important.
You're still taking it when
I
you're
do.
out here.
Yeah, no, and I try to. I probably haven't taken it in like a few months, but anyway, took that. Didn't really think anything of it. And then
When you were
honestly,
how old, like 5 or something?
yeah,
Okay.
like I remember it a little bit. And then I took a hip hop class with some friends, and that was kind of fun. I just didn't really think I was that good at it though. I was like, this is fun, but I'm not really that good at it. And then I guess in junior high, I joined show choir.
Okay.
And I love singing so much.
Okay.
So that was kind of
I
like
didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I did show choir I'm
Okay.
a show choir girly. And I did singing, dancing, acting, and that was like I liked doing all three of them.
Okay.
And I got more into dancing, and then after I got into all of them, I was like, wait, you're actually better at dancing. You're not like great at the other stuff. Is how I did it. Like I still loved everything, but like you know how when you do those things, you kind of are like, which one am I like really good at? You know. So after that, I just got more involved in college, and then after college, I was like, I really want to dance, so I came out here. And yeah, I don't know. I would say show choir is really where I was like, I really like dance, but I can't do as hard at dancing as I want because you can't because you're singing. They don't do anything too like treacherous, you know. And I was like, I really want to like take like in the industry dance classes.
But you did show choir in high school.
Yes.
Junior high.
Yes.
And
all
high
the
school.
time. Yes.
And what did you do in college?
So in college, oh gosh.
Did you go to college
I
in
went to Ole
Mississippi?
Miss, which if you're listening to this and know anything, it's a very big party school. Just like
Okay.
it's not you can't even major in dance at Ole Miss.
Okay.
You can minor in
What
it.
are you saying?
Ole Miss. Hold on. University of Mississippi.
Okay.
Rebels. I'm dying that you didn't know. Okay, Ole Miss. Okay.
Almost. Should I know that?
I don't. You probably shouldn't, but just since like I obviously went there and like I'm from
How
Mississippi,
do you
that's
spell?
so funny.
What are you saying?
OLE space MISS. I'm about to like. I know,
Ole
I'm, like,
Miss. Ole Miss. I literally was like,
Miss.
I don't know what you're saying.
This is fantastic
Ole Miss.
stuff. That is where I went to college. I majored in marketing,
Okay.
minored in psych,
I majored in marketing. I feel like we might have talked about this a
and
long
I'm
time
so bad
ago.
at marketing. It's funny. Anyway,
That's why you have a social media person.
That's right. That's right. So I just kind of decided I'm not going to make dance a career, so I might as well just like, I did the college things like,
Wait, why did you decide you weren't going to make dance a career?
because I just didn't think I was good enough. I have a
Okay.
huge confidence issue that
Okay.
goes in and out.
I have
in and
seen
out.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's either,
It's not necessary.
we would be here
but
for 4 hours and we discussed my confidence issue with everything.
That would be interesting.
That
though.
would be,
Okay.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, you just need to like, marketing's like solid, the
Yeah.
psych mic.
That's what I felt.
The psych minor was random. I just happened to have taken enough psych classes that I was a minor. I don't know.
That's what happened to me. I took a ton of writing classes. Okay, it's not
yeah.
really what happened to me. It should have been a minor. I took more classes than what was a minor, but I picked the classes I wanted to take.
Yeah.
And they weren't the exact classes in the minor, so I
Mm.
wasn't able to. But it kind of happened because I just took so many English and writing classes that it was like a minor.
Right.
But go on.
Senior year, I'm still involved in like I've taken privates from this girl that I absolutely love, all involved with like any college dance stuff that was going on. Still choreographing stuff. And I was like, I can't let this go. And so I'm just going to apply for like BDC, Broadway Dance
Yeah.
their program,
Yeah.
Edge. I'm going to apply to these programs and just like
Okay,
see.
so you applied
So
in
when
New
I got
York,
in-
applied in LA. Okay,
When I got into those, I was like,
after college.
yes, but I got married 2 months after college.
Wait,
It was a lot.
wow. Okay, you got married right after college,
Mhm.
and you were like, now I'm going to pursue dance,
Yeah.
even though I have a college degree of other things that I could get a job in.
For sure.
You're like, was it like you changed your mind, or you were just like, I want to do a year of pursuing dance?
It was honestly a moment I went to New York. My husband, Clay. Hello.
Hi, Clay.
He know he'll be watching this. So he really wanted to move to New York. We both love New York so much. And when we were out there, I was like, I'm going to take a class at Broadway Dance Center. That was the first time I took like a
You moved there, or you were visiting?
visiting because we were going to like look at places to
Okay,
live.
okay.
Because he wanted to live there too. Nothing
Yeah.
to do with dance.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get out of here.
Okay,
And I took a class from JoJo Gomez, who you know
nice.
that I
Yeah.
adore. And so I took her class and I was like, this is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. I don't even know if it has to be on a stage or anything. I just want to be dancing like this.
That in
Anywhere?
the class, in a good class,
In a good
because you
class.
hadn't taken any
No,
class
no.
anywhere.
Like I haven't taken
That's so
an industry class.
crazy.
All I've taken was like,
Wow.
you know,
So that was your first time after college in
college because I got married after college. So we were visiting in
okay.
college to go.
towards the end of
Yeah.
college.
Probably
Okay.
my junior year. I got engaged at the end of junior year.
Okay,
Crazy times.
this girl's
Crazy
like
times.
checking it off the list.
It's crazy
quickly.
looking back. Clay and I always laugh. We're like, who allowed this? We were so young, but it's great.
Wow, that's so cool. And so right after that, you started applying to Edge and BDC, and then what happened? And you got married, but who cares
so-
about that? You want to do dance, so
Got married. Got married and worked in retail for a year, 9 months,
okay.
while I was applying to these
Okay.
places. And then
Can you say where you worked?
Bridal Path, shout out, they're doing great. I worked in a bridal store. I was
Wow.
bridal stylist, but like I'm laughing now because like but honestly, bridal retail is so much different than normal retail.
I'm sure.
You gotta put people in dresses, and like that's their wedding day. Like you can't
Oh.
screw up an order.
That would
man.
stress me out.
Oh my
I don't want to be a part of
gosh.
something that important.
I mean, it was kudos to anyone that is in the bridal industry because it is no freaking joke. Anyway, it was great. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but like that was obviously like what I was gonna do while I
You
was
were
applying.
like really into weddings. You're like, I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna help
gonna
people
have
with
one.
theirs.
It's funny because if you know me personally, I'm not like one that was like dreaming of like I don't know. Clay and I have been together for so long, and like I just knew that we were gonna get married after
Yeah.
college, and I just loved him so much.
I know. I don't picture you as like a romantic-y wedding type person, so that's why I'm like kind of surprised that you did all of these
I know it is
wedding
it is
things
shocking
so early in life.
but
And
I did love my wedding and working at the bridal path. It was a fabulous time.
okay, so you're
But
applying to these places.
applying, to BDC Edge. My sister is a doctor. She got a
Mhm.
fellowship in Los Angeles.
Yes, I
They were
remember this.
like,
Okay.
it will make more sense if you move to Los Angeles and live with her.
Yeah.
I visited Edge. Actually, did not like it at all.
Really?
Did you know this?
Wait, now, did I meet you when you were visiting?
I
Okay.
visited one day
Okay.
just to see like why my sister was moving in, or I guess she was looking at her apartment, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And I was like, I need to be in New York. That's where me and Clay wanted to move in the first place. Whatever. My sister had a really bad water skiing accident and couldn't drive and like all this stuff, and it made more sense for me to live
Whoa.
in Los Angeles with her and kind of
Oh, I
like be
kind of
with
remember
her.
that. Okay.
And at the time, I couldn't decide where to go, and that was just so clear to me. Like, obviously, I'm gonna be my
Nice.
sister who needs me, and this is gonna be great. And now I'm such an LA girly. Like, I love New York, I do, but I'd much rather. I did live here, so I want to live here.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it worked out. It's unfortunate circumstance, but it all worked out like very, very well because I got to
Yeah.
live with my sister. Did long distance with Clay, so me and my
Oh,
sister
I
lived
forgot.
together.
Yeah, because he wasn't here.
Right.
That was
So he
crazy.
would visit, but like my sister and I are 8 years apart, and like we got to live together again. It was kind of like a
Aw,
fun camp,
that's
honestly. It
cool,
was
yeah.
so much fun.
And she had a nice little cute place.
She had a great
I'd drop you
place.
off and be like,
She had a great place.
dang.
Yeah, I'd be slumming it in New York with one of my friends if I'd moved to New York, but I got to live with my sister in her great apartment, and it was like so like I want to say the best year of my life, but I feel bad because Clay wasn't there, but he visited and he knows it was a great experience.
And like
So
amazing that she lived so close to Edge because
that's
like
also a thing. Like, why
she
would I
wasn't
not?
like trying to live close to Edge.
No, my family was like, wait, the place is like walking distance. They're like, Helen. I was like,
Like
I know,
this
I
is
know.
meant to be.
But the first time I just felt kind of weird, but then I went a second time and I was like, no, this place is awesome.
So how was it when you first? So okay, when you visited Edge, why did you not like it? How many classes did you take the day you visited?
So when I
it?
visited, I just visited and talked to an advisor person. I
Oh,
didn't
you
take
didn't
a
take
class. And that was
Oh,
like
then that's probably why you
that
didn't
was
really
the-
experience it.
But then I took a class later and I was like, wait, this is actually amazing.
You took a class the same time you were visiting?
Yes,
Oh,
like 3
okay.
days later. But the
Oh,
first
okay.
time I went, I was like, eh.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say for you to not like it when you're visiting and then decide to come out here is shocking. But okay, because you did take class later and
Mhm.
liked it. So now when you're okay, so then when you came out to officially do the Edge program, that was when I met you.
Yep.
And what was because this is your first time like immersing it was almost your first time you even took a class at like a studio like that.
Yeah.
But you immersed yourself in it very quickly. So what was that like? Because you went from not really having any of that type of training. Like obviously you had
No, for
training,
sure.
but like in that way you hadn't. And so what was it like to just all of a sudden have all these classes? Like
It was
how
really
many
scary.
classes were you taking a week?
That's something I think about because I can barely take like 2 a day. I can barely take 2 a day. But now, like, I was taking like an ungodly amount of classes at that
Like
time.
how many?
I'm trying to think.
I
like-
feel like you sometimes took 3 or 4 a day.
No, like I definitely took 4 or 5 a day. There would be days where I'd take 3 and it'd be like, ooh,
That was your
But,
day. That was like your day off.
my day off, But I would say between 3 to 5,
Wow.
probably just 4.
You had 1 or 2 days off a week though, didn't you? Or at least one.
It
I feel like you
depends.
told me that.
It depends. Like if you missed, like if
Oh
I
yeah,
missed
you'd
a
have to make
hip-hop,
it up or
I
something.
can make it up. But like turns with Bill Prudich, that I will never forget.
I wish I could have taken that class.
Wow.
He subbed one time and it wasn't for a turns class, but he was teaching us turns anyways. And I got so better at turns in just the small amount of time that he taught that.
No, he's incredible.
He is
He
good.
scared me to death, and he knows.
I remember
he
you
scared
telling me
to
that.
death.
But you loved him too.
He scared me to death, but he was absolutely the best teacher in the whole wide world. That turns class was the first class I took when I was in the program, and I was like, I hate across the floor. I hate across the floor, and that's all turns is. That class was. Anyways,
Why do you hate across the floor?
literally because of traumatic experience. Like I remember being like in across the floor. It just seems very much like when you're doing across the floor, it's so much easier to call someone out.
Yeah.
There's only 3 or 4 people going
Yeah.
at a time. And if you mess up, it's just so freaking obvious.
Yeah.
You can't just stop and like, I don't know. And like when I get freaked out, it just kind of stays with me. It just stays with me. I hate across the floor so much. And it's not good. You should, because it's very important.
Yeah.
But I just don't like it because I remember screwing up a lot. By the end of like, let's say turns, by the end of that class, like by a few months, I was fine. It was great.
Okay.
But the first few times, it was on Fridays in the morning. I was like, No, because I'm not even, I'm not great at turns, but like, I don't know if you've ever seen that thing where it's like, I'm not stupid, I'm just panicking. That was how I felt. I was like, I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. I'm just so panicked
In
right
the
now.
moment, you're so scared. And then you do worse. But that is definitely across the floor in a new class, the first few times you're in a class. Because you're not used to what they do across the floor. And then all of a
No,
sudden
and
you're kind of
they are.
practically going by yourself and you don't know what you're doing. So, but then once you're used to a class, I think you start to appreciate the across the floor because you're like, okay, I know what they're going to do and they do a lot of the same things. So you can actually work on them and
Yeah.
get better. So, you know what? I sort of like across the floor, but I don't like it in the beginning either when I don't know what's going on. I never liked across the floor in hip hop classes.
Mm.
I'm like, why? Okay, no, it's nothing against any of the teachers that have done that in the past or do that because I do, of course, always get something out of it. And usually I love those teachers. That's why I'm in the class.
Right.
But maybe it's just because I'm bad at it. It's like hip hop across the floor, it's like hip hop technique. And I'm like, let's just memorize some choreo because like I just don't have that hip hop groove. I hope it grows in
Yeah.
me, but I don't. And so when we have to do these like hip hop moves across the floor, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
I just don't. I mean, even in heels class, if it's just straight walking, I'm like, no. I don't care what it is. I hate across the floor. I really, really do. Literally, it'll just be like, okay, we're just gonna walk, and I'm like, no, why?
Walking in heels, that would stress me out. But
Love heels
okay,
class.
so you started Edge, you took the leaps. I'm calling it leaps and turns. What was it called? Turns.
It's called turns.
Because I took a class called leaps and turns a long time ago.
I like close my eyes. I see it all. It's just flashing for me.
So what else about your experience when you first were doing? So what was your intensive? Was it just called the intensive? What was it called that you did for? Because it was
Don't laugh at me. I'm not really sure what it's called.
Oh, that's okay. No, because I used to know and I don't know anymore either. But because there was the scholarship program that was like a year or something.
Yes, I knew I didn't want to do that because I was like, you're right, it was very new, and I was like, I don't know.
You want to try it out?
Yeah, like I just want the one I did was shorter,
Yeah.
so I
And
could
so
peace out if I needed to.
yeah. So when you were doing that, did you feel like you were? I mean, you're so outgoing, so you probably were. But did you feel like you were making like friends through it? And I mean, I felt like you had friends who were even like in the scholarship program.
I had a lot of friends in I was in the classes with the Scully people.
Yeah, the
but
Scullies.
Love them. But I made friends like you. It was just whoever was in class.
Yeah.
Hanging outside of Edge, honestly, I had a lot of friends. That is. I don't know why I said a lot. I had like 2 friends that had moved up here from Mississippi that I hung out with a lot, and they were actors at the time, and so I was kind of friends with their like actory
Nice.
friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so like
cool.
not really dance industry friend, more like actress people, and I would
Okay.
go to their plays and their stuff.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
I really enjoyed that.
And it's cool that you like had your sister, obviously, and like
I had my sister, but she is 8 years older and was a doctor, so she'd go to bed. Like I would like go to a class at 8:30, and she'd be like,
already in
go to
bed.
bed. Yeah. so yeah.
You're like kind of felt like a slumber party, except I was the only one that was up.
Right.
so.
Right.
That's
Loved when
what
people
fun.
came to visit. They loved visiting. Loved it.
Oh my gosh! Whenever I dropped you off, I was like, "This seems fun." I never even saw the inside, but I
know
was
what
like,
you
"This seems
had.
nice."
It was great. I still have friends that live in that. Like you're asking who friends. I still have friends that live in that building.
Really?
And
You just became friends with the neighbors. You're like just chatting with people at the
yeah,
mailbox.
love
I can
them.
see you
Yeah.
doing that.
And so we're still friends. He actually picked me up from the airport this time. Like the guy
Oh,
that we were friends
nice.
with. So it
That's
was
cool.
really fun.
So then, okay, you were like, "Yeah, I know I didn't do the scholarship program, but I'm just going to turn it into that by doing the intensive multiple times."
Yep.
Is
That's
that kind of what
precisely.
happened?
That's literally exactly what happened.
You're like, "I'm just going to take this 4 times, and then I'm
Yeah.
done." No,
I did it
no,
twice.
I know. I'm
It's
exaggerating,
like
but
4 months long.
yeah, I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4 months, but
4.
yeah. So like, yeah, that was a long period of time that we got to know each other because I was
Yeah.
friends with you through that whole time, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then yeah, so you obviously like loved that experience, but you were away from Clay the whole time, and then the second session of it ended right before COVID.
Yep.
Now remind me because I knew at the time, but I don't remember, and obviously they don't know. You were planning to go back. Oh, I feel like you were trying to decide I'm like trying to remember. You were trying to decide at the end of that second session if you and Clay were gonna both move to LA. I think you were talking about him maybe trying to find a job here or something.
He was applying to grad programs
Yeah.
at
Oh, that's what it
USC.
was.
Is that right?
Okay.
USC?
Yeah, USC.
He was applying to grad programs, and I really wanted to come back. I just couldn't. It was just so, COVID was so,
Disruptive.
It's so expensive to live out here. And
Oh.
with COVID on top of it, like if I couldn't audition for things
Oh,
or like
right.
do anything dance wise, it'd be like it's much cheaper to live at home.
Yeah.
It's just the hard, raw truth of it. And so, yeah, we stayed at home. And I always thought I was going to come back out here and we were going to move out here. But when I opened up the studio,
Yeah, so talk about, okay, I want to talk about the studio thing, but really quick question before that, when you were out here, were you doing other stuff in the industry? Like, were you finding because I mean, you were becoming
Yeah.
friends with people, so were you finding auditions? Were you going on auditions, or were you
Yeah.
just like kind of learning about it? Or
I did yes, I did auditions, but only like 2 or 3 are standing out to me that I
Okay.
remember. And 2 of them were for agencies. Like
Okay.
one was for Clear and one was for, this is years ago, I can't remember. And I had blonde hair at the time.
Do they have like kind of open auditions for people that want
This
to
was an open
be,
audition, and I
like,
went with friends that were also at Edge. I don't know if they were
Okay.
Schollies or people who just took class. I surely cannot remember.
Okay.
And I had blonde hair, and I remember sitting in a line and then being like, I've been in that line for 40 minutes, and then being like, oh, they're not taking anybody that has blonde hair. And I was like, I mean, it's just so hard up here.
Oh
Like,
my
it just kind
gosh.
of depends
I
on,
know,
like,
that's
they're
crazy.
looking for a certain thing,
Yeah.
and you may not be it at that point. So, yeah, I auditioned for stuff, and I remember 2 or 3 times there'd be things where, like, I already went into it with, like, a kind of negative thoughts because I was, like, whispering and hearing, like, people being like, they are not taking blank. And it was very obvious because when they did cuts, it was like,
Yeah.
So, but yes, I did audition for things. You didn't ask the whole process. But
Discrimination.
yes.
How that must have felt really sad. I mean, I'm sure you were happy to just be back with Clay in general, but it
Yeah.
must have been really sad to be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna. But you also probably didn't know how long you were gonna
Right.
do it. You're probably, because I remember at first you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to Mississippi, but it wasn't like, it was like, maybe I'll be back here in a few weeks.
Right,
I
yeah.
remember that was kind of like the
It just
idea
kept
at
dragging
first.
on. COVID was
And then
forever.
we did sort of stay in touch initially.
Mhm.
I got involved in this like virtual church group that Helen and Clay attended a couple times.
Oh my gosh. How many memories are you going to unlock that I completely forgot? That was so, I remember, that was a fun time.
You guys were
My
so
mother-in-law was
cute.
on it, too.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. It was like this group, this church group, and I decided to like lead a group, interact, like, because I live in Pasadena. I used to live on the west side. I used to go to this church called Vintage. I still go there sometimes when I house sit or cat sit on the west side. But they were always contacting me to try to lead these groups.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd already moved to Pasadena. So for like years, because I led a group once when I was like over there, and they were always contacting me, and I'm like, I can't do that. I live in Pasadena. I go to a different church now, whatever. But then all of a sudden the pandemic, and they're like, oh, they're virtual groups. I'm all over here like, I have nothing to do. I mean, I was doing a lot of virtual
There was
dancing.
nothing to do.
But
This
besides
was like
that,
the height of COVID.
yeah, and I was like, I guess I'll volunteer to do this virtual Bible church group. And then I was trying to like, you're supposed to try to get people to come, obviously. So I was just like telling
got me.
everybody. And I was surprised that Helen was like, yeah, I'll come.
I'm
It's-
pretty much down for anything. I don't know. I was just like,
She's
sure.
so friendly. And so she and Clay both came to that a couple times. I mean, everyone kind of dropped off, if I'm being honest. But yeah, you and Clay came, was sweet. And then your mother-in-law, you said it was? Who was it?
We were doing, like, we were in the, what was it? Just whatever that was, whatever the Bible study, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then we were at his cabin, and she like
Oh, that's what
was
it was.
like, oh my God, what is
Your
this?
cabin was so cool. I was
I
like,
know,
where are you guys
thank
at?
you. It was
It's
closed,
called Alpha. It's like a group. It's
Oh
actually
my
a group
gosh.
for people who don't usually go to church that just want to like ask questions about church, God.
Yeah, she asked a lot
Is
of
really
questions.
what it was. And so, yeah, you're supposed to encourage people to like kind of say whatever they want, because it's actually not a Bible study. It's like for people that are just like curious or just like want to know or like
Right.
challenge some stuff, which is a little intimidating. But
Mm.
and then I guess I don't remember ever being bothered, but I guess she talked
when
a
it's your
lot.
family, you're like, oh, but she's actually like a really good conversationalist, and like honestly was asking very good questions. But I think I was just kind of like, what even is this? Like, we don't know these people at all. Like, how do you feel so comfortable? You don't even know who Tracy is. You don't even know. And Clay is so good at conversation too.
He's so nice.
He's so
I
nice,
love
and so
Clay.
I'm really not good at conversation. Like, if it was like with a big group of people, I'm
No,
not.
because I was gonna say I think you are very good at conversation.
No, if you put a Zoom on right now with like 40 people, I'd be like, Tracy, take it away. Like, I would be very like.
Okay, so you don't want to be like a public speaker,
Oh,
but I think you're good at. You're like about to throw up.
no, if I had a speech at high school, I would just not show up for the day.
But I think you're very good at like personal and small group conversation.
Thank you,
and not
thank
everybody
you.
is. So,
Thanks.
yeah. So that was like a funny time. But then I think we kind of drifted apart after that because we were just like living different places.
I know, yeah.
But what I want to know is how, because I don't even think I know. You might have told me like a quick blip of the story, but like, how did you end up starting a studio?
Mm-hmm.
I think you and Clay kind of talked about it when you visited. They visited one time when I was injured, so we didn't take any dance classes. We just like went and got like coffee or something.
Yeah, but you weren't drinking coffee,
And
so like
I know I
we
wasn't
were
gonna get
drinking
into that, but like
coffee.
I think I got like a smoothie, and I think it still
Yes.
made me sick later. Honestly, I really don't.
So
I really
sorry.
just drink water.
Oh my god! But we
I
had to do
tried.
something. We had to.
We're like, what can you? Where can we go, Tracy?
We're at Larchmont. I remember.
So we
yeah.
went, Larchmont. Oh, I love that area. We used to hang out there after Edge, and I just
Larchmont
love that
is
cute
the
little
best.
street and
Yeah.
those houses over there. I want to live there one day. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so I remember you talking about the beginnings of the studio, and also talking about still wanting to move to New York.
Yeah, probably.
How was that?
I don't know.
I'm like, were these two different
I'm
times? Because
crazy.
I
I
remember
don't
you
know.
being like, do you want to move to New York with us? We were like talking about that. But also, you had told me about like your studio. So maybe I don't know if this is two different times. I don't know why you'd be moving to New York if you started a
No,
studio.
Clay and I have always been like kind of petering
You
on
just
like,
always
should
talk
we
about
be
it. You're like,
moving?
whatever.
Should we not?
But anyway, okay, so because I can't remember and because they don't know, people watching. So how did you end up starting a studio?
Okay, I feel like I need to say it quick so I don't like drone on, but I'll just try
Whatever
to keep
you
it
want.
quick and simple. Moved home. Obviously, I was living in LA. We didn't have a house or anything, so my in-laws had a vacant house that they had just moved out of. Like they had
In
just moved and
Mississippi.
they had
Okay.
a vacant home. And so imagine just a completely nothing's in there, and we were living in there like on just a mattress, like just waiting to see if COVID would end. Because why
Wait,
the
but
world?
didn't Clay have a place when you were here?
He lived with his parents while I was out here.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
it didn't make sense. Because
I
we were
see.
like, oh, he might move out here. Like, let's see how Helen does
okay,
up
okay.
here. So, but we had to make it look like it was not lived in because people were looking in at the house. So like, we didn't have dishes or furniture or anything. It just was like one.
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a fun time because there was no responsibility, But I had no job. It was the middle of COVID. I had no job. I couldn't even get
my
like a job
gosh.
working at anthropology because I have a friend that was working there, and she's like, we can barely put on 20% of our staff. I'm sorry. So I was like,
Was that so depressing that you just did this whole dance program and then
so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna wait for COVID in, but it never did. And so probably like
Oh
3 months
gosh.
into it, one of the parents that went to my old high school was like, hey, would you want to teach my daughter and her friends, like a dance class? And I was like, sure, but like where?
Oh, okay. I think you
And
told
she
me
was
that.
like, I was like, I don't really have anywhere, and I had set up some mirrors in the house just to like stretch, keep up dance stuff.
Yeah.
And so I taught like 3, 4 girls one time, and then it kind of turned into, okay, well now there's 10 girls that are coming to this class. Oh, can you teach a class to these younger girls, to these older girls?
Wow.
So by the time I was like teaching like 3 or 4 classes out of my in-laws' vacant house, then they sold the house, and I was like, oh. And my friend at the time, we were I need to tell her about this because
You're like, we're supposed to look like we're not living here, but we have a
No,
whole dance
like
studio.
I was like, is someone coming to look at the house? Like what time? 3 or 4? And my mother-in-law would be like, I don't know. And I'd be like, well, I need to know for my schedule. And then I was like, wait, that's so rude. I'm literally living in her house. Like I need to get out of here. So eventually, my friend that lived next door to the vacant house, we became very close over COVID. And she was like, hey, there's this spot that I think you should look into. It was just a vacant
Okay.
place in a strip area. Like,
Okay.
I don't know how to explain this, just a
Yeah.
place you can rent.
Yeah.
And I walked into it and immediately was like, this is it. This is it. This is
Wow.
the studio. And I always wanted to own a studio. I just thought it would be like when I was in my 30s. I thought like during my 20s, I'd be out here, doing things.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need this place so badly. And I'm already growing all these people. And so I talked to the owner of the shopping center, and I was like, I want to open up a studio here. And he was like, cool. And so I did. And here we are 4 years later.
Wow.
So yeah, I really owe it to that mom that wanted me to start that class, and my friend who was like, hey, you need to start a studio in this spot. So,
That's so cool. I love how your life just like took such a direction just by you being like, you took one dance class and you were like, I just love this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then it totally is what you're doing because you're literally like, now your life is dance classes.
Yeah.
Which it sounds amazing.
Well, I wish like,
that you were taking more dance classes.
yeah, like I feel like every time I get kind of good at something, I have to, I need to go back home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a struggle. I'm like,
yeah.
if I really came out here and just like did it, I would feel much more confident about things. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just always like,
Mm.
but then I go home and I'm like, I have my own business, so like,
Yeah.
I'm fine, I'm good. That's why I'm trying to build it up to where, my friends that work with me are running it, and I can kind of come back
leave
and
more.
forth, which I still go back and forth more than I probably should. But I if I don't, then I lose the reason why I like to do it so much. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like you're getting there to a place where well, it's amazing that you're able to be out here for like a couple months this time.
Oh, yes, I'm very, 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 very thankful all the time about it.
Yeah. It seems like you're kind of living your dance dream right now. Like yes, you wish you could take class more. But outside of that, is there another, and like right now they're renovating, you're gonna have like more classes, so that's amazing. Do you have any other like visions? I know things may just come up later in life, but right now, do you have any other like dance dream visions that you're like, and I hope also one day I can do this thing or something with dance? Or are you just like, no, this is what I want to do?
No, I'm always unsettled.
Oh, okay.
Think about it. Like in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. While I was in the Edge program, I was like, oh, like I can't commit to like, oh, I didn't do it for the whole. I wanted to do it for just a little bit, and then I moved back home and like, oh, it's. I want to get to a place where I'm just like content. I'm not very, but I think that also is like a personality. Like I'm always just like all over the place. So I guess my dream would be like, I don't know. I really, really miss being out here a lot.
Yeah. Aw.
I would love to open up a studio out here or invest in one that's already
Yeah.
here because I feel like I love that part of it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the business side, but like giving people the opportunity. Like I love people teaching in my space. I love that people
Aw.
have that to do, you know?
Yeah.
So I would love to do that other places.
Yeah.
So it would give me an excuse to come out here more for
Can
this one
I
here.
can I teach beginner jazz at your studio if you do that out here?
Yes. Yes.
Can I do it in Mississippi?
Yeah, for sure.
I love asking you on the pod because then I feel like you have to say yes.
I would say
But
yes
you-
even off
okay,
the pod. For
cool.
sure. Come. Yes, please.
Yes. I feel like in the past you used to joke about me teaching contemporary. I just remember that.
You can
Because
teach contemporary. People want it. It's a me problem. Like it's people like it.
I can
just
maybe
don't.
teach like a beginner contemporary.
And that's what
But
people
I
like.
like you're just like I remember joking. Yeah, like when you were first starting the studio, I know you don't like contemporary. So it's like I'll teach contemporary.
There you go.
I want to tell the story. I want us to tell the story of when we were taking Chelsea's basic jazz class and that time that we were doing that. I feel like you tell it good, but the time that we were doing that dance.
I'm waiting for you to say. Like I don't know what
You're
talking
like,
about.
I feel like you should know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The time that we were doing the dance where it was like, do it as slow as you
Oh,
can. Okay?
yes. I just needed you to say one keyword. I was like,
Sorry,
we took so
saying-
many.
That was terrible. I was
Okay.
saying no keywords.
Well,
We had so many moments in that class, so I feel like
God,
it's
like-
it is hard to remember what I'm talking about. But that one,
basically there's this dance combo that we did, and she wanted us to do it really, really as fast as we could, but like still, you know, keeping the
in the
integrity
same
of the
sequence,
moves,
yeah.
or as slow as we could. And I don't remember the fast that much. I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, because the fast went by fast.
For the best.
We would just do it as fast as we could.
The slow mo, you just do it as slow as you can, and I mean, you know, that's just like a patience game
Yeah.
at this point. And
I think it's a technique game to try to. You have to hold the movements and stuff.
right,
Yeah.
and Tracy and I both got stuck on. I remember the exact position. We were just in passe, not releve, just here.
Was it the last move of the dance, or was
No.
it? No, it was in
No.
the middle of the dance.
Middle of the dance.
And we both decided just to like
just to hold?
hold because the instructions were do it as slow as you can.
Mhm.
So
Sorry, it's so funny.
you are supposed to eventually do the next move. You're not supposed
Right.
to really just like completely stop in one move.
But we did.
But I think Helen and I got a little competitive for a second
For
because we both
sure.
realized we were on like we were in a group of people doing it, but we both realized we're kind of at the same part. And there was a competition. It was who can do it the slowest. Just
Right.
remember that.
Yes,
It actually was a
it
competition.
was a competition. We were not being annoying.
But Helen and I were being competitive with each other. We both stopped in this position, like, or paused for a very long time to make it slow.
right.
In the position where we were just like in passe or in retiré with on flat, so not on releve, so it wasn't super crazy,
Mhm.
but just like with our arms like in the pirouette position.
Crazy place to stop. Why did we stop there?
I think we both just stopped. I think we probably planned to just stop for a few seconds long,
then we were like-
but then we noticed each other was doing it and we both wanted to win. So we both decided to like never leave that position.
Yeah.
Like we were holding it, like everyone was finishing the whole dance and we were just still there.
Everybody was done. We were the only ones
And
left.
even though it wasn't on releve, it wasn't like 1,000,000% easy because we
No.
were still on one leg.
Yes, and if one of us had fallen,
And
it would have been over.
It was so funny. Chelsea thought it was so we all thought it was so funny. So Chelsea and we're just like so serious and focused. I felt like I
So
was
focused.
I was like, I will win this. I will beat Helen. I will beat Helen, who's in the intensive. I love to compare myself to the Scullies and the intensive people and be like, can I be better than them? I never
Right.
was, but
Shut
I wanted to
up.
in that moment.
Stop.
I was like,
that was a moment.
literally like someone told, like a Scully person told me they were taking like 13 classes a week, and I'm like, I need to take 13 classes. Like I was like, I wanted to pick my classes, but I wanted to take as many as them and like
Right.
be as good as them. So yeah, so we held that position for so long that somehow, I don't know how this started, but somehow the whole class, which was kind of a lot of people, it was probably
It's
like
a
20
fever
people.
dream. Yeah.
They were all like started circling us. And Chelsea was like, let's watch them, guys, or something. It was just really funny.
They were trying
It
to
was
distract us
it was a
because
funny
it was
moment.
getting out of hand and like class
how
needed
long
to
we
move
were
on.
staying.
And so that these people, I don't even, but the reason it's so funny is because that is such a niche thing that we both remembered recently. We were like, whoa, like
Remember
why
that
was
time
that?
that
Remember
we were
that
like
time?
we were
There's so-
balancing for so long, and then the whole class was circling us and trying to. They weren't allowed to like touch us, but they were like trying to distract us, like make us
Right.
fall, and we just like never would. I think that Helen beat me.
I'm going to be so very honest. I have no idea. I have no idea. I really
Oh
don't
shoot,
know.
I shouldn't have told then.
I don't know.
I think you did. I think I finally. Or maybe we both just no. I'm like, did
No,
Kelsey just
no,
say
we-
like it's over? No, I think we really went.
No, like she committed. She was like, nope, we're gonna see this
I'm
out.
pretty sure I finally like broke and couldn't hold it anymore. But then you broke right after me.
Yeah, there's no way that I would just be like,
You're like, I'm just still gonna hold it.
Ah.
But that was just like how I feel like we laughed so hard about that. It was just such a
it was a
funny
bonding
day.
experience.
That class was just like a lot of the same people. I mean, different people came too, but like there was a core group of people that came like every time.
right, like
and
consistency.
It was
made
so
me happy.
fun to like get to know each other and just like work hard in class together, but also like have these funny moments and like laugh about it. And it really does bond you. And so like I just wanted to remember that because that was so funny. And
Aw.
I miss taking class with you, Helen.
We did today, babe. We did today.
Did we?
It was great. Shout
I
out
loved
to him. He was
Devin,
great. Devin
Solomon. Take his class. Like if you are free, I'm gonna try to find if he teaches another time because I would love to take him if he teaches at night or on the weekend or something. But yeah, Helen, what? Oh, you know what? Okay, I know we gotta end it. But have you ever gotten discouraged about dance or wanted to like stop?
Okay, so I noticed that question and I was like laughing, and Clay was laughing because I've recently talked about how I've just like it's just such an up and down thing for me. And recently,
I'm surprised because I feel like you've kept liking it.
no, it's like hard when you think like basically I'm like dance is my identity. That's not healthy. You should have different outlets and whatnot. And I think that I've just put everything into dance that like when just the most minuscule thing doesn't go right shatters me. I'm like,
Aw.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so, have I ever felt discouraged? Like, yes, all the time. But I have to be like, this is the thing I love most in the world. It's so fulfilling, even if it's just a class. It doesn't even have to be teaching or a performance or anything. I just love dancing. It's just
Even like in your discouraged moment, are you able to be like, I still love that even though I feel discouraged or not? Or does it take like a day or two where you're like, okay, I still love it even though I was discouraged from this thing that happened?
I feel like it takes like I think it's like right after I'll get sad. Not a day or two and not like during it, but like probably like a few minutes after. If that makes sense.
This
Like
takes a few.
like if I had a class that was really bad, I'll like leave and be like and then I'm like get in the car and I'm like, no.
No, I love dance.
No, I love
I'm
dance.
gonna get back in there.
I think it's just figuring out I think right now I'm trying to figure out what outlet I like the most. Like, is it to keep training and be the best dancer in the world? Or is it to the business side and we're like, okay, like we're really gonna dive into like owning the studio and doing all that.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, I love your mix of it.
That's another thing. I'm
I
trying
think
to
that's
live both
nice.
lives, and it's
Yeah.
like that's very hard to keep up with. It's very
Okay.
draining to like pull like you either live out here and you do the damn thing,
Yeah.
sorry, or you move home and you do that. And I'm somehow trying to like do both.
But would you want to? I mean, I guess your dream would be to like actually open a studio here. But it's so
Yes.
nice that you like. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a studio here and Mississippi, and you had enough people working for you that you could be out here for like 6 months and like
I would actually
that'd be cool.
be deceased. I'd be so happy. I would be so happy. That's a dream.
I was like, deceased.
Like,
Okay, like I just decided what your dream is.
I think this should, yes, no, that would be my dream for sure.
Perfect.
So then it's like, you know, you get in the whole thing. Well, gotta figure that out. I'm taking it one step at a time. I have to remember, I keep like pacing. I'm always thinking like 5 steps ahead, and I'm like, you never enjoy what's right here because I'm always so worried about what's next. I've got to stop. That's a horrible habit.
Yeah. But that's part of you because that's how you're able to like dream and build stuff. And that's probably why you've done so many cool things because you think like that. But then, yeah, you probably have to teach yourself how to like rest from it sometimes so you can just have a little break from your
like even in
drive.
Like not this class, but another class, I'll be thinking like, okay, but like what class am I going to take tomorrow? And like what time is this meeting and what time? And it's like, you're in this class right now. Take this class right now. I have to remind myself.
Oh, I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Or literally the beginning of this class, I already could tell that I loved him. When he the first 10 minutes, I'm like, this guy's good. And I'm already thinking, oh, I'm so sad I probably can't come to this class every weekend. I'm not paying attention to his teaching because I'm literally like, is this going to work in my schedule? Could I do this? No, it's at 4:00. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But maybe next week I can because I might not start the job for 2 weeks. And literally my brain is just like, how can I come every week? Because I know I'm not going to get it that great today. But if I came every week, I would get better. And they're like, no, Tracy, you're fine. You can't take this class. But there's other classes here you could take that are going to help you. Just keep trying new classes. I'm a whole pep talk in my head. I am not paying attention to the choreography.
You always give your all, though, in every class. That like we've taken a lot of classes together. Like I know mostly basic jazz, but like we've taken this one and the other one. Have we taken any other classes together?
I was literally thinking, like, wait, did we even take other classes besides? Well, we took the ballet and we took basic edge. Well, basic jazz. You're literally in my phone, Helen Basic Jazz. That's why I don't know your last name all the time.
Let's see what you are in my phone. Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, give me one sec. What I was gonna say is you are always so. This is what you're in my phone is.
Wait, Tracy. Where is it? Oh, Tracy Edwards Edge.
Yep. You are always so focused in class, or even if you're not focused, you're giving your all in every single class. I was thinking about this while we were in there. I was like, I have no idea if you like this or not because even if you didn't, I think that you would be doing it. So like, I was like, I don't even know if you're like, I'm pretty like on my face. Like, I don't try to be, but like, I can be like, but like you are paying attention and like, you're the kind of people that people want to be in their class because you are so unapologetically being like, I'm here to learn. And you're great, and thanks for your class. And now I'm out. Like, it's perfect. So.
It's really funny because I feel like in the beginning of class, it was taking a little while for it to get started. So I was like chatting with Helen, we're laughing about stuff, and like maybe the very beginning of the class, I'm looking back at her a second or two to like smile and be like, haha, about the class. And then once the class really starts, I do not care where Helen is. I don't know what happened to her. I'm not going to take my eyes off the teacher. Yeah. He like kept having us switch spots in the class, and I didn't know what happened to Helen. I was like, okay, now I need to go to another spot, but I need to still be able to see. So I got to go over here. Okay, I got to go around this guy. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Helen. I'll talk to her at the end. So like, it's like, I do like to take class with people, but just know that I'm generally not going to be like socializing. I mean, nobody really should be socializing, but like, I will be focused. You're
a really good, like, you're not. You know, there's some people that are like, me with their friends, which is okay, but it's sometimes like, oh my gosh. And then there's some people that are so serious that like, they're not self-aware, like hitting people. Yeah. You are a good class taker. You are a good.
Thanks, Helen.
I'm sorry.
I do hit people sometimes, but I appreciate that. Most of the time I'm aware.
Take the compliment. Take the compliment. Okay.
So Helen, oh my gosh, I love that we literally talked for like an hour before the podcast, and now it's been over an hour on the podcast, and I feel
is it my fault? I'm nervous.
It's not, and I was so beforehand I told her like it can't go over an hour. I was like joking, and a lot of them have, and also I'm gonna edit it, so maybe it won't be over an hour, but. Also, I feel like we could still talk for like another hour.
Oh, for sure.
There's still like so many things. So at some point, yeah, we'll have to. Well, Helen said once we're famous or something, we can do like.
Tracy is famous. Yes.
Well, we're both gonna be famous. Well, it doesn't matter if we're famous or not.
Whenever, just mark this moment. Mark this moment. Just give it some time, and I'll be back.
So thanks for joining me in Helen's world. Maybe that's what we're gonna call our studio.
That's cute.
Me and Helen's world?
No, Tracy, Helen. We'll think of something. I'll whenever you post this, I'll comment like this is the name.
But yeah, thanks for listening, watching, following. Please like and subscribe. Like, really, guys, can you subscribe? Because here's the thing. I can't get, like, advertisements until I get, like, 100 subscribers.
Facts.
And right now I think I have, like, 20. So
It's
more than that are listening, but
Yes.
nobody's actually subscribing. So I'm
that's good to
gonna
know.
take this time
Okay.
to be like, if you could actually hit, like, the follow on, like, Apple Podcasts and hit the subscribe on YouTube, that would help me to keep this going because I am running out of money. Hence, I'm going to have to get a day job soon.
the realness.
Okay, just being real, because you guys, I just feel like I could be real in front of you, whoever you are.
That's great.
Okay, Helen, thank you for coming on the podcast.
No,
You've
thank
been
you.
amazing.
My honor.
And I will talk to you soon, like right after we stop this.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
We're out.
Bye.
Dance, 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 dance.